And go, huh? Oh, you're telling me to go? I'll tell you when to go. And go.
Welcome back to Extra Good. This week, we're getting back to the 66 F100 project, just like you guys have asked.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing belts, not just belts, but accessories and the whole system that goes into it. We've got a serpentine system that we're running on the truck, and I kind of want to compare that to what I've run in the past on the 57 Ford. We're gonna be going into an in-depth comparison of those two bits. We also got the full install, so we filmed all that, so you can see how easy this went in and all the steps involved. So yeah, that's what I'll be up to.
It's a pretty cool system. And then I'm gonna get you guys up to speed with what I've been doing on the rest of the truck. I've been taking forever on the body. I'll talk about why from a beginner's perspective. It's my first time ever doing all of that work. And I'm also working up to paint in the next couple of months. And I have some decisions to make in regards to single stage or dual stage paint, which I would love you guys to help me make. So watch to the end so you get all of that.
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, let's get to it.
Hi, and welcome back to my happy little garage where I do all sorts of fun stuff and you guys get to watch. Today, we're playing around with accessory drive systems. Today, I am going to install on this car a serpentine style belt system. And I also want to talk about the V-Belt system that I've installed on my 57 Ford, which you've seen in the previous Route 66 video and a couple other videos. I really want to go into some details between the two, compare, contrast, and kind of go over the products and give you a good idea of what you're getting into. What I have in front of you is a 351 Cleveland running a CVF Racing Serpentine system. And then to my right, I have a 302 Windsor with a CVF Racing V-Belt system. I think this is a very fair comparison because it's made by the same company. They run the same amount of accessories. They're really just a good apples to apples type comparison. So let's talk with the Serpentine because we did this today and it's the brand new stuff and I'm the most excited about the new stuff. This thing's dope, all right? It keeps the engine very compact so you don't have a lot of stuff hanging off the front of it because pulleys for V-Belt systems tend to get very deep to account for the various number of belts that need to be ran. Whereas a serpentine system uses only one belt, so it's able to keep it really compact and close to the engine. Another benefit of the serpentines is that they have a auto tensioner on them. So the belt is going to stay at constant correct belt tightness at all times, of course, unless that thing fails. But everything should be running nice and smooth. It gives me good grip on all the accessories, so there's really no chance for belt slippage. Everything should run nice and smooth. Water pump's gonna work correctly. And it's a really sick looking kit. They send it out in black anodized or available in polished, which I have one of each, and they both look great. This kit comes with everything. It comes with the water pump, the bracket to attach everything, comes with the AC compressor, the alternator, it comes with the power steering, it comes with 3 idlers and the tensioner, it comes with all the little caps and decorative stuff on it, and it comes with even a belt, which is great because sometimes it's a pain in the butt to have to find a belt. So the fact they send it with it is a super benefit to me. All in all, this thing went together really easy. I thought it was a super great install. The directions they sent are full color and laid out in good steps, so it was very easy to follow and get those done. So what you're watching me install really only took about 90 minutes. And that's going from taking off my water pump, stripping the gaskets, installing the new water pump, installing the bracket. And then from there, I started installing the actual accessories. Did the AC compressor, did the power steering pump, did the alternator, installed the tensioner, the 3 idler pulleys that come with the kit, and all the decorative caps. So really beginning to end, this was about an hour-and-a-half install. I do have the benefit of not having to work within the entire body of a car, but even still, if you were doing this over the fender of a vehicle, it would not be very hard. Very easy to install. Comes with all the hardware you need, really good instructions, full color photos. They even give you torque specs for the bolts, like no one ever does that. It's a great kit and I really recommend it to anybody. The only downfall I would say is that this is the most expensive option that they offer. This kit, all said and done with everything as shown, was about $2,000. Out the door, $2,000, and delivered fairly quickly, showed up in really good condition, so I was very happy. Now my 57 Ford has a V-Belt system on it. And this I did mainly for budget, because as I built this car, I did not have a lot of money to do it, and I could only really spend a little bit of money over a long period of time. When I was looking for brackets, and I spent probably weeks looking through the internet trying to find somebody who offered something that I liked the looks of, at a price that I was happy with, and quality that I would have liked. And I found CVF Racing. They're a very good company. I think they're based out of Minnesota. I just needed an alternator kit for this engine. So I was able to order those bits only, bolted on, and I ran it like that for a few years. Then I added power steering, call them up. They send me just the extra bits I needed. I didn't have to buy a whole new kit. It was very easy to have modular components added to it. And then even a few years after that, I did air conditioning, which we just did for the Route 66 video, which came out fantastic. And I really like this system because I was able to have that flexibility of changing it up over time. That's not to say you can't do that with the Serpentine system. That option is available, but I figure if you're doing it that way a little bit at a time, you're probably not gonna buy the most expensive parts. V-Belt kits tend to be less expensive than the Serpentine. It's a lot easier for me to spend $300, $400 at a time than it is to spend $2,000 at once. So that was kind of my main factor for using the V-Belt system. Plus, this is an old school looking car. The V-Belt is kind of the old school accessory drive system that they would use. Serpentine is gonna be more resto mod modern. So this truck is my more modern build. This is my old hot rod. So I use two different accessory drives, but the company that makes them both make them in the exact same quality. So there's no quality difference, at least from this company, between V-Belts and Serpentine. If you like really trouble-free, Serpentine's the way to go. If you don't mind tightening your own belts, V-Belt. Their kit is really dope. They come with their own tensioners that you can tighten up and actually increase the tension. They're not auto tensioners like a Serpentine, but they do have an ability to increase the tension on the belt, which is great. So I really like them both. Which one's better? I can't say. They're both great. I use them both. They both work fantastic. Hopefully, if you're looking for one or the other, this information helps you. Or if you're at least looking for a company that'll sell you brackets that you can use, I highly recommend CVF Racing. They make stuff for all the Ford motors for the most part, GM, Mopar. You'd be really surprised with the amount of brackets and accessories they offer for different makes and models. It's mostly domestic stuff, but it's really, really good if you're a Ford guy that has a Cleveland motor where nobody makes that stuff except these guys. So I thank you guys for making parts for me. So we did this, hope you liked it. Hope you like what I'm doing. Hope you like my shirts. Let's kick it over to Kristin and see what she's up to.
On our 66 Ford F100 project, Ethan's been in charge of the mechanics, while I've been in charge of the body. I've shared before, I'm the reason why we've been so behind on this project is because bodywork takes a long time. So while I don't want to share with you guys the ins and outs of bodywork, because I am not an expert, I'm just a hobbyist, I do want to give you a bit of a progress update. I want to share a few things from a beginner perspective about choosing to chew off paint and body for a car project. If you're thinking about possibly taking on a car project and doing paint and body yourself, I definitely have learned some things that I'd love to share with you. But what I'm really excited to ask you about is I want your opinion on our paint. And I'm going to go over a few things about single stage paint and double stage paint or dual stage paint. I'm trying to decide which one to use as we go into the next phase for this truck, getting it into paint. But first, for bodywork. If you've never done bodywork before and you're thinking about doing your own project, a few things that I've learned during this project. A, it takes a really long time. Hours and hours. That's why most people give bodywork to somebody else. It's a very physical job. It makes a lot of mess. So if you're working in a small space, if I was working right next to Ethan trying to do engines and I was doing bodywork, it wouldn't work. Here in the shop, I've made a clean room, so to speak, or a dirty room where all of the dust that I'm creating can be contained, which is really helpful. It's also really good to get yourself into a routine where you're doing it an hour or two every day, that is when I have made progress. Times when I get pulled away, turns to summer, I drop it for a long time. Another really helpful thing is I made this cart with all of my supplies in it. When you're coming to the garage, when you're coming back to projects and you have everything all where you need, it makes it a lot easier to pick up. So highly recommend, whatever job you're doing really, that you make yourself a little area that is gonna make it a lot easier to come back to that job and pick up where you left off. But let's get to paint. So dual stage versus single stage. Since the beginning, I have envisioned a green color for the truck. I've used this paint before on a project, Hot Rod Flats, matte metallic paint. It's really pretty. I love the look of it. I think it would look really nice on the truck. But when I'm thinking about the end use of this 66 F100, it's meant to be a shop truck. I'm not trying to make it look show quality, but I want it to look respectable. I want it to look extra good. The problem with matte is there's no fixing it. You can't buff it, it gets a scratch. That's gonna be how it is. So I've actually decided not to use matte metallic because I just don't think it's gonna hold up for the long run of the 66 F100 being a shop truck. My decision is, do I go with dual stage or single stage? Anybody building a custom car these days is probably gonna say, well, of course, go with dual stage. You want clear to get that depth of gloss. But this is a shop truck and I wanna be able to bang it around, and single stage is a really durable paint that has a really good longevity that clear coat still just, in my opinion, doesn't have. Yeah, you can buff it out, but there's a lot of issues with UV and wear and just not as durable. So that is my quandary. Anybody out there who has built custom cars, resto mods, and done paint jobs, what's your opinion? Do I go with a single stage or do I go with a dual stage? I'm gonna talk to a few of my friends who are painting experts, get their opinion, and we'll come back next episode and let you know how we're moving forward. Thank you guys for hanging out with us in the garage for this episode of Extra Good. Please share with us what you're working on in your own garage. Comment, like this video, subscribe to Driving Line's channel so we can keep bringing more videos your way. And we'll drop a link here as well so you guys can watch all of the other videos we've done on the 66 F100. Recently, we just took a really cool Route 66 road trip in the 57 Ford, so be sure you're watching the other extra goods as well.
I hope I was able to help you out with some tech information regarding serpentine belt systems and V-belt drive systems. They're both pretty good and they work great, and depending on the situation, you get to decide which one you want to use. But there you go. I had a good time making this video. It was fun to get some work done on the truck, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching it.
Until next time, keep it extra good.
Extra, extra good.
Thanks for watching Driving Line. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to our channel so you'll never miss any of the content we create here. Whether you're into trucks, Jeeps, imports, domestic vehicles, or anything in between, we are here to fuel your passion. So hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.